Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this January 27th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Navajo lawmakers have begun their week-long winter session in Window Rock. Among the items they'll consider is either to make the Attorney General's position an elected one, give more power to the Legislative Council, secure a loan to build a public safety facility, and combine the tribe's general and local elections into one. Lawmakers heard this Monday from Navajo President Joe Shirley Jr., who outlined the tribe's response to a series of winter storms that slammed Arizona last week. Shirley says residents should expect more challenges to the relief effort once the snow melts, creating a muddy mess. Lawmakers are also expected to be updated on a probe into allegations of illegal and unethical behavior by tribal government employees, including Shirley and some other lawmakers. A Southern Arizona tribe says it won't back away from plans for a casino resort on the west side of the Phoenix, Arizona Metro Center. Governor Jan Brewer asked the Tohono O'odham Nation to abandon its plan recently. The tribe is awaiting a federal response to the year-old request to take 135 acres of tribal purchased land into the reservation status system. In a letter to Governor Jan Brewer, Chairman Ned Norris Jr. declined to withdraw the tribe's application. He asked for a meeting to discuss the issue, which he called an economic benefit to the state in fiscally dire times. Governor spokesman Paul Sensman said Brewer stands firm that this location should no longer be considered. The chairman of the Intergovernmental Commission that handles state-tribal relations says state government is failing to address key issues important to Maine's Indian tribes. Paul Bisulka announced he's stepping down from the Maine Indian Tribal State Commission, where he has served 4 years. He says Maine's tribes have come a long way since they were effectively, quote, wards of the state, unquote, before the 1980 Settlement Act. But he says there's not been enough progress in terms of creating a process where tribes' concerns can be aired and addressed by the executive and legislative branches of Maine. Bisulka, a West Point graduate who's also a Penobscot, told the Bangor Daily News that proposals to allow gambling on Indian land represent just one of many issues straining relationships. And amongst those on the guest list for the First Lady's Box at the 2000 State of the Union address by President Obama on Wednesday, January 27th, includes the following. Deborah Powell of Hugo, Oklahoma. Powell is a Native American Development Specialist for the Housing Authority of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. Having earned only a high school diploma, Powell built her experience outside of college and soon became interested in accounting and finance. After spending 43 years of her life in her hometown of Flagstaff, Arizona, she moved to Oklahoma in April of 2004 for a change of pace and is currently working on a project funded by the Recovery Act. A member of the Choctaw Nation, she has currently helped to track budgets and ensure bids for independently elderly homes. So keep your eye on that State of the Union address this evening on January 27th. And coming up right now, we have a short interview with Alaskan Public Radio News Network Director Lori Townsend.
Tell us what's happening in Alaska this week on Alaskan Public Radio Network.
Hi, Paul. Well, this week, Albert Kukesh, the senator from Southeast Alaska, finds himself in a bit of hot water again, this time not over a fishing violation, but some comments that he made at Craig City Council meeting. Craig is a community on Prince of Wales Island, and Senator Kukesh is not only the senator who represents that area, that district, but he's also the Sealaska board chairman, the native corporation in that area. He went to Craig and talked about some community projects that they will have coming up for funding, and was urging them not to oppose a Sealaska land selection deal that Sealaska is trying to get through.
They're trying to trade some land?
Well, they're trying to get selections outside of their original land selections that they would like to get that has valuable timber on it. Some people in the Craig community are opposed to that. Some environmentalists are also opposed to it because of the logging implications. And Senator Kukesh was at the city council meeting, which some of the council members felt was inappropriate in the first place because he's both a senator and Sealaska board chairman, and they were discussing legislation that involves Sealaska. But some of his comments came across to them as veiled threats. He said during the meeting, your community projects are going to come up soon and need funding, and who are they going to come to? They're going to come to me. And Sealaska has been a good neighbor. You're getting cheaper electricity because you're on Sealaska land. You're driving across Sealaska land, and we need to work together. Some of the council members were shocked at his comments. One of the council members is also a Sealaska shareholder, and she said that she felt that he was trying to indicate that they do need to work together, which she agreed with. She said she did go back and listen to the comments again and felt that some of them were inappropriate. But she did say that she doesn't think he's a vindictive man, that she'd worked with him in the past when he was the Alaska Native Brotherhood president, and said he's not a vindictive person. So it's kind of up in the air as to whether there will be a formal ethics complaint issued against him. Senator Kukesh didn't want to talk about it. But he did say in an Anchorage Daily News story that he thinks that that's possible, that an ethics complaint may be filed against him.
Sure. You got to be careful about that conflict of interest. In the 1 minute you got left, what else? What can you line me up here that's coming up on Alaskan Public Radio if you haven't already played it?
Well, I did want to make note of the fact that Callan Chaithluk Sitsoff was just accepted to the U.S. Olympic snowboard team. She is probably, we're fairly sure, she's the first Alaska Native to go to the Olympics. She's 24 years old, young woman from Aleknagik who now lives in the Girdwood area. And so she's going to the Olympics. It's all very exciting.
Usually I would say she's going up to the Olympics in Vancouver, British Columbia, but in this case she's going down to the Olympics.
Yes, that's right. She's going down to Vancouver on the 12th of February. She's in Aspen right now for the X Games, and then she'll go over to Vancouver.
Oh, the X Games are beautiful, too. The extreme stuff. Okay, where can people find these stories if they're looking for them this week? I know we're a little bit short. Give us the URL.
Absolutely. They can find those stories and many more at www.aprn.org.
All right, thanks for joining with us, Lori. We'll see you again next week, hopefully.
And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank all of you for coming in to watch us. Stop by again soon. Miigwech.